Hi, my name is Craig Timmons. I'm going to be reading the Willamette Valley Mankind Project newsletter for August of 2023. I was initiated back in 1998, February of 98, at Camp Mellicoma. Yeah, I guess that's what I did. And I now sit in the Wednesday night group in Eugene. It is called Men at Work. I'm also part of another I group that we started meeting back in 1998. That group has gotten very small and we just meet irregularly, mostly over meals now, and we've turned into a group of friends. There are only 4 of us left, so I want to acknowledge that group as well. So on with the news. The first story is titled "A Loss of a Fellow Oregon Youth and the Lessons Uncovered," written by Jay Hansen. I have lost a parent, grandparents, and also friends. I have never lost a child. However, I have had practice. In 2004, my dear friend Jimmy and I built houses next to each other and spent the next 12 years sharing everything, including the raising of children. If his 3 children are not in my house, my 3 children were in his. However, on November 28th of last year, Jimmy's 57th birthday, his 22-year-old son died of an accidental fentanyl overdose. It has been like losing my own child. There is a link that you can read the story of what happened to Tristan. Just a sad story about loss and what happens in our society. The next item is the Inspiration of the Month by Martin Luther King Jr. If we have any peace on earth, no, I'll start that again. If we are to have any peace on earth, our loyalties must become ecumenical rather than sectional. Our loyalties must transcend our race, our tribe, our class, our nation. And this means we must develop a world perspective. I'm guessing that was written in the 60s or the 70s. We'd have to ask ourselves, how good are we doing at that? The next item, Willamette Valley Personal Integration Training, or PIT training, held on September 15th through the 17th in Eugene, Oregon. Friday is a Zoom meeting, 2.5 hours. Time will be determined. Saturday and Sunday are both in person. Saturday is 8 to 5. Sunday is 9 to 4. And again, Saturday and Sunday are both in person. To register, contact Kelly Staines, and there is an email link to do that. And sitting in circle with Kelly, I have to recommend that he is probably one of the most qualified men to do this that I know of. Kelly has a big heart and a sharp sword for cutting. So I urge everybody who has not taken the PIT training to do that. Next up is a picture of some really beautiful men sitting in Gray Owl Hollow. The caption below says, on July 6th through July 9th, the outdoor NWTA was held in Washington at Gray Owl Hollow. 44 men on staff and men of service created a container for 22 new men from our Pacific Northwest community to enter the work. Many men from our Willamette Valley community staffed men of service and contributed to the NWTA. The next new warrior training adventure in the Northwest will be first weekend in October, and there is still a need for staff and men of service. If you feel any desire, as several of us do, sign up. Let Gary Waldron know via email, and there is a link that you can click on to get signed up for that. I have staffed a couple of times a long time ago, but it was one of the most fulfilling, fun, scary weekends that I have spent. Probably second only to the weekend going through the training adventure myself. Somebody who has gone through, a new brother was welcomed into the community at the last Welcome Home celebration, Tim Smith. I was unable to attend. I had an eye appointment, but I'm sorry, Tim, that I wasn't there, but I will wish you a hearty welcome into our community and hope to see you at some further meeting at some point. Let's all just take, anybody who wasn't there, let's all just take 5 seconds just to send out a little bit of a good vibe to Tim and welcome him into our hearts and into the circle of men here in the Willamette Valley. Our next story is about the next new warrior training adventure for 2023 in the Northwest. That will be held from October 6th through the 8th of 2023 at Camp Wariki. There is a link below that for links to the staff, men of service. The second training, or the last training of the year, will be held December 1st through the 3rd at Camp Wariki again, and there's a link if you'd like to sign up for men of service below that. Do you know a man who might be interested in attending an upcoming NWTA? Send him this link and register at NWTA. Do you know a man who identifies as a man of color who might be more drawn to attending an upcoming Specialized Men of Color, MOC for short, NWTA in West Virginia? More information on the NWTA can be found on the link below, and then there is a link below that. There will be an open enrollment circle for Mak Nwata, MOC, Men of Color, Northwest Training Adventure in the month of August. And there is a link for that below that headline. Next, we have a saying: treat the earth well. It was not given to you by your parents. It was loaned to you by your children, which was an American Indian proverb. Something to consider as we move into hotter and hotter times with more and more people on this earth, gobbling up more and more resources. Something we should consider and how we can address that. The Mankind Project. The mission of MKP USA is to create a world where men act on their individual and collective responsibilities for the future of humanity by initiating and supporting men on a path of emotional maturity, spiritual awareness, and deepening community. That is so good, I'm going to read it again. The mission of MKP USA is to create a world where men act on their individual and collective responsibilities for the future of humanity by initiating and supporting men on a path of emotional maturity, spiritual awareness, and deepening community. Below that are a few paragraphs that I'm going to read. Our Willamette Valley MKP community fully supports the MKP USA mission and encourages each member of our community to be true allies, both of our MK community and other communities around us. Our Willamette Valley MKP community is a strong advocate for true allyship, which transcends performative allyship. There is a nuanced but transformational distinction between performative allyship and true allyship. Performative allyship is based on the idea of self-gratification and does not look at one's responsibility within a community. It is done to make oneself feel better, to prove one is not a racist, a homophone, I think that must mean homophobe, a xenophobe, etc., to create a perception of oneself for others and or to be trendy. In comparison, true allyship requires follow through, and the first step is to recognize that when one's allyship is performative, further steps include informing oneself and understanding our personal education is never done, supporting the existing work by standing behind organizations and movements led by marginalized groups, and creating change where one can by identifying areas in which you have power, privilege, like the workplace, at a religious establishment, or at an educational institute. Well said. We encourage you to consider upcoming events in our newsletter and in your community at large, with the spirit of being a true ally in our communities. Then there are a list of upcoming events. There is a trail walk, Saturday, August 12th, from 10:30 to 1:30. Location is the McDonald Forest, north of Corvallis on Highway 99, across from Camp Adair Market and Coffee Shop. We will hike the Callaway Creek Trail, just off of OSU Research Forestry Road 540, directly across from Northeast Vandenberg Avenue in Camp Adair. And there is actually a map right there that you can look at to figure out where you're going to meet everybody. The intent of this walk, hike, a regularly occurring short 3-hour hike in the McDonald Forest where people can meet and be present with new people to facilitate authentic connection. All will pair up with a new person and check in with the individual, then switch every 15 minutes as the hike proceeds. Meet across from the market and coffee shop. Jay Hansen or somebody should be standing in an obvious position, relatively visible from Highway 99. Please try not to run over Jay on your drive up there. We like him and want him to be all in one piece. This is a recurring event, happens every second Saturday of the month. There is a pride celebration in several communities in the Willamette Valley and on the coast. There is in Eugene, that is held August 12th at Alton Baker Park from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. I attended that several years ago and it was a great celebration. Salem has a celebration happening at Riverfront Park And that is from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Oh, and that's a different time. So Salem's time is August 26th, and that is from 10 to 6 at Riverfront Park. Seaside, Oregon, has no place in particular, so I don't know where it's being held, but Seaside is not that large. Just look for a colorful gathering of people and you will probably be there. That happens September 9th and 10th of 2023. There are a link for Eugene, Salem, and Seaside where you can get further information on that. Do you miss us as much as we miss you? There's an age-old question. If so, please save the date. The next welcome home will be Saturday, October 14th from 12 to 4. Mark that time because I think it's been 1 to 5 in the past, but this time it's going to be from 12 to 4 at the Monroe Community Library Meeting Room. It's a very nice location, a beautiful drive to Monroe. And if you can make that, please do, because supporting new members coming in is a good thing. I remember my welcome home and just felt so utterly welcomed. It's like being hugged by your mother. The next story, MKP USA Community Forum on Trans Non-Binary Inclusion, which will happen Saturday, October 7th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. There is a link to find out more information about that, as well as a couple of phone numbers down here and a meeting ID. You can find all of that in the newsletter if you're looking. Seattle Community Event, Guts Training Day, will be September 23rd, Shoreline, Washington, North Seattle Friends Church. It will be a guts training from 9 to 4 all day, and lunch will be provided. Cost will be minimal. Morning, an invitation to do personal work with stop, start, pauses at appropriate points to review and critique, with Q&A around the execution and facilitation on NWTA weekends, as well as an I group. Afternoon, return to more carpet work with debriefs following work pieces and focus on flow and outcomes as opposed to teaching and learning. This is an excellent opportunity if you are in the Seattle area or want to drive to the Seattle area and want to learn more about the facilitation tools, or are on staff for the October or December NWTA, and you want to add some depth to your NWTA experience. If you have any questions or want to sign up, please contact David M. Fenn and David's email address is in that link. Community development. Due to new PIT team requirements, we in the Valley find ourselves short of qualified PIT leaders. Suicide awareness training plus cultural awareness training are prerequisites. QPR plus either waking up to whiteness or waking up to whiteness or unpacking qualify for this and check these boxes. All are good, even if you do not plan to staff a PIT. But if you have any energy at all around being on a PIT team, please consider the following. There are several here that I will read off. The first of the workshops is called Unpacking Power, Privilege, and Difference, which is held August 8th, which is just around the corner. There's a link to register for that. The second is Waking Up to Whiteness, which is October 4th. and there is a link to click to register for that. Suicide awareness, QPR training. QPR, questions, question, persuade, refer. Suicide intervention, prevention training for MKP USA members. And there is a link that you can get more information right in the little pink box. There is also a link where you can set up an account so that you are able to register for that. I think you may have to set up an account before you can register, but I'm old and don't know how computers or the internet work so well, so you'll have to take your chances. Boost your I group. Every man in every group knows he is connected, has tools, is transformational, is a leader, and is honored. Upcoming trainings pertinent to I groups. Intro to conflict resolution, which is an online class. 2 options. You can go on August 20th or September 8th. There is a button to click to sign up for that. iGroup resources, 2022 iGroup Summit videos and presentations. There are several links that you can click to check and see. You can get handbooks, you can check out what some of the talks were. Area iGroup coordinator roadmap, iGroup tools and resources, meeting guides. So all sorts of good things that you can find at this site. So have a heyday and check yourself out there. Open men's circle. Brothers, do you know a man who is not sitting in a men's circle? We have a place for them. Invite a man to join one of these safe places for men to meet and be. The Willamette Valley Open Men's Circle is the first one mentioned here. I have sat in that a couple of times and it is a real pleasure. That happens the first and third Mondays from 7 to 9, and it's a Zoom meeting. There's a link that can be forwarded to anybody you know that would like to be in a men's circle. Also, Mankind Project USA is now running a weekly online men's group on Tuesday nights. To register, go here. There is a link to that as well. Next is the book of the month, provided by Taylor Elwood from New Monday iGroup. The name of the book is Under Saturn's Shadow, A Wounding and Healing of Men. The Wounding and Healing of Men by James Hollis. There is a link that you can check that out on Goodreads, which I did, and it sounded like an excellent book. The brief description here reads, "This is an essential read for all men. The book explores the 8 secrets, just 8, that men keep each and every day, and unpacks what these secrets are and how they wound men. The author takes a deep dive into every aspect of what it means to be a man and applies a Jungian framework to analyze the inner work that men need to do. Reading this book helped me understand I wasn't alone and that there are clear and present need to do men's work and explore the various perspectives on what the work looks like and how it shows up in our lives. Do yourself a favor and read this book. You'll come away knowing more about yourself and the deep work that needs doing." Food for thought. Next, you'll see a picture of a smiling Bruce Knoll. If you click on Bruce's nose, you will be taken to a link where he discusses why he got into doing men's work and what it has meant to him. He is in North Carolina, I believe, and has a very interesting 2 to 3 minute talk. Check that out. There is a quote, maybe several quotes. Vision without action is merely a dream. Action without vision just passes the time. Vision with action can change the world. Joel Arthur Barker wrote that. Be nice to your children, for they will choose your nursing home. That was written by Phyllis Diller. When I was a young pup, I used to watch Phyllis Diller on Ed Sullivan's show. That dates me. MKP has a number of additional training opportunities beyond what we have presented in the newsletter. To see the entire list, go here. There is a link that you can push and it will take you there. Also, there's a couple of Northwest Women's Personal Growth Groups that are here for people to look at. The first is Women Within, Western USA. There is a link, maybe a couple of links here. I'm confused a little bit, but that's nothing new. There's Women Within and Her Weekend. Maybe Women Within have Her Weekend. That's probably what it is. So you can click on this link and figure out where and when that's happening. The Inner Yoga Training Weekend, which is September 15th through the 17th of 2023. You can register at inneryoga.org, and there is a link for that. My wife went through that several years ago and has thoroughly enjoyed it and has used all of her skills to try to make me a better person, which I thoroughly resist, but we won't go into that now. Please share this with women in your life, Inner Yoga's Women's Circle. You're invited to create meaning in your life, to find joy, and to bring the whole self to the present moment. Begin your circle life with profound weekend experience, the beautiful and life-changing Inner Yoga training held once a year near Portland, Oregon. This year we offer a new beautiful retreat site in the forest and a renewed invitation for women to witness the untapped power within themselves to consistently imagine and direct the possibilities of their lives. We have active circles in Eugene, Corvallis, Portland, Seattle, Snoqualmie, and Whidbey Island. Our online circle is open for women to visit. The next thing that it says is this newsletter is narrated by Craig Timmons, yours truly. The next is humor, bad dad jokes, and you will see a picture of Jay right there getting ready to sit down and read you some jokes. I'm not going to steal Jay's thunder, so click on that link and let Jay regale you with a few jokes. I'll read the bottom one because it's a bonus. The past, present, and future walked into a bar together. It was tense. Jay probably does a better job on it than I did. Down below that is a link to a gnoming job. And I watched that earlier. It was pretty funny. Then there's also a veterinary clinic with a sign that says spaghetti without meatballs. makes more sense if you're looking at the picture. But and lastly, letters to the editor. Have feedback, questions, or announcements or events, please let us know. And there is another link to click if you want to have something advertised or mentioned in this newsletter. So that's it for me. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you all tuning in. And I want to say, now that I have the opportunity to do that, what a pleasure it is to read for you and to be a member of the New Warriors circles that are around the world. And yeah, it's just an honor to do that. And I hope that I give back as much as I get from this work, because it is truly good work for all men to do, and our world needs it. So I hope that everybody has a nice August, and whoever is reading this in September, I wish you well. Thanks.